Hey everybody, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. This will be the first live video I've done, and I'm trying to figure out how to get the phone to auto rotate, but it's not letting me. Anyone got any ideas? I'm just trying to figure it out. There doesn't seem to be any settings here on the phone that's letting me do it. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to turn this around. I'll keep trying for a moment before we get started. Yeah, I can't figure it out. It's going to be a bit weird if we go, maybe if I turn it the other way. Okay, let's get this right. How about if we go through it like that? Does that work for everybody? That's all right, isn't it? That's cool. We can do that. We'll just have to look at one page at a time. Maybe next time I do it, I'll hook up a camera to the computer and then we can go through it properly. But thanks for everyone for coming along and looking at the comments. Hey, Jez, Pog, Matt, great to see you all here. Thanks, Jez. Glad you enjoyed that flip through. That's awesome. So I thought today I could go through the book and just answer any questions you got, really. And I thought it'd be fun to have a look at one of the characters. And so this is one that we've put together that you can actually download from the website. So it's all free. If you go and have a look, there's 2 characters on there. And this will give you a good example of how the survivors work. So this is Bubblegum, and this is based on the character from the They Live movie. So you might recognize him a little bit there. And so when you get these characters, you'll get a sheet like this with the different character cards, the weapons they're assigned with, their job and hobby cards. And then we're also doing little tokens. So if you wanted to play the game with the flat tokens, you can do that. Or you can cut out the little standees and use those as well. And then we always write a little bit of a background as well and give you a full image of the character. So this is the kind of thing we're going to be doing going forward. Loads more characters lined up. We've got some cool zombies ready to go as well that we'll be revealing as the game progresses. And so, yeah, we've got loads to share with you, and it's really fun. So, yeah, if you want to get a character sheet, you can go and download that PDF, and that'll give you a good example, I think, for ready for when you want to create your own survivors. And there's also sheets on there that you can download, the blank copies of your survivor card and the backpacks as well. So you can get those in black and white, also in color too. So let's start going through the book, and I'll talk through, maybe go straight to the survivor section. This is my favorite part of the game, and this is really what we wanted to get going with. As soon as you get into the rules, there's a bit of an introduction, ways to play, and then we're straight into building a group. And I think for skirmish games, this is always my favorite thing to do. Put together your war band, or in this case, it's going to be a group of survivors. And so it's all kind of step by step. So it tells you exactly how to get started. And you'll get a group record sheet to print off. And then you'll use that to keep track of all your different survivors. They're probably going to get killed off quite quickly, depending how you do. And then you keep track of all the food, gear, and different weapons and items you find during the game. So when you build your group, one of the first things to do is to go through here, the 4 steps. You print off the sheet, give your group a name, and then you choose a camp perk. And then from the camp perk, you're going to get a benefit. So if you choose Nana's house, Nana always has her cupboards well stocked. So you give any one survivor an extra can of beans once per skirmish. So all different ones with different perks there. Let's have just having a look at the questions. Yes, so this is cooperative and solo. So you can choose either or, and you can take as many survivors as you like, but the kind of idea is to go from 2 survivors first and then like build up to how many you bring in. So it'd be 2 to 4 would be like the sweet spot, really. And that's easy to manage, especially on your own if you're playing solo. If you've got 4 survivors, that's really cool. And then you can go on from there if you want to add more. But 4's great. 4's really fun. Even 2, I like playing with just 2 survivors. I think that's really good. And then, oh yeah, the news articles. Let's flick back to those. So this, I was trying to figure out a way to get the information and how the outbreak started. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of build up, setting the scene with the local Huntsville Gazette. And then we've also got the Investigative Times, which is really cool. If you read through this, you're going to get some little clues as to what you might expect in the future. There's some little Easter eggs in there as well. So lots going on in this article. And then things start to get a little bit more sinister as we get closer to the virus coming into full effect, until we get to this article where the Huntsville Gazette give up and they close the doors for business. So let's get back to these survivors. Nice one, Pog. So you played with Lego. That's awesome. Lego would be fantastic for this, with all the different weapons, and especially with the little barrels and chests. You could put things in there as well and find those. That would be really cool. That's something we did with Weekend Warriors. Always recommended playing with Lego. And this is the same. You know, you can definitely do that. Do I think it's a good gateway game? I think so. I think if you wanted to play solo games, especially if you haven't played solo before, this would be a good way to go. And because it's kind of written in a step-by-step process, I think it's going to be pretty easy to get into it and get set up and starting to play. And then you've got the complexity coming from the character cards, the NPCs, and that kind of thing. So I think, yeah, for a solo game, definitely a good gateway game. For player versus player, I would say this is more solo co-op, but you can certainly play player against player. And it's not going to be a fast-paced game that you'd expect from something like Warcry or Kill Team. So if you were playing player versus player, you're going to find that it's going to go on a bit longer. And maybe it's going to be a bit like Necromunda, where you've got unlimited rounds. So that's the kind of idea with it, really. But it's definitely set up more for solo co-op with all those NPCs coming on. But still fun if you want to play player versus player and then decide how many zombies are going to be involved and on the battlefield. That's going to make a big difference too. Oh, Jez, no, I meant for getting other folks into gaming. Oh, if you all played together, you mean? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if you've got everybody around, then yeah, you could definitely get people playing this. Once you've learnt the rules yourself, it's really easy to get someone else playing, so they could just take on 1 survivor each. So if you wanted to do 4 survivors, you could have 4 players, and you could even have a 5th person taking the role as the zombie master, and then they can control all the AI. And that's what I like to do. If I'm playing with people who've never played before, I'll go in as the zombie master and then just introduce them to the game, set the scene, and then they don't have to worry about that. They've only got to concentrate on their one character. So then all they're really looking at when they play is everything on these sheets. So they'd really have the cards here, plus any other cards for the items that they find when they're playing the game. So yeah, I definitely think for someone who's never played, if you're introducing them to it, this is going to be perfect for that. Have I answered everything? Nice. Yeah, I think so. Cool. Right, so we've done this bit, haven't we? We've done the 4 steps. So you've got your camp perk. So we're all set up. Now it's time to start building the individual survivors. So this is where you first start with your survivor cards, and then you're going to get hobby and job cards, and you're also going to choose a skill. But the main thing is choosing the size. So you've got small, medium, and large. And this is going to influence lots of different things when you start building your characters. So a small survivor, they're going to be faster, they're going to have more actions, but the downside with them is they're not going to be able to carry as much, and then also they're going to be not so good in melee combat. So if you've got someone who's small and nimble, they're going to get around quick, but if they get surrounded by zombies, they can go down fast. And then if you've got someone medium, they're kind of middle of the road, they're going to be kind of good at everything, but not excel in anything in particular. They can carry a few more items. They can carry 8 items, whereas a small one can only carry 6. And then you've got your large. They're going to be slow, but they can carry 10 items. And also, they're going to be really good in close combat. So if you're looking for kind of a tank to hold down an objective or to protect the others, you're going to use the large one. So it's really good to mix up the different sizes when you create your characters. Just reading the comments, and that's cool. Adding the chocolate tokens. Yeah, that's a really good idea. All right, here we go. So we've got 9 steps now to create a character. So you give your survivor a name, choose their size, and then you fill in the size related stats. So the size is going to influence how many actions they can make, their reflex, guard, the armor save, and then how many items they can carry. And then you'll choose a job and then a hobby. And you'll find those on the following tables. So let's look at the hobby table. So you're going to get all these different hobbies, and you'll see you've got a hobby ability chain 1 to 4. So when you get your survivor tokens, you're going to earn those for taking part in the different skirmishes. And you also start off when you create a survivor with 1 token. So you can choose to give them the first ability on the hobby ability chain, or the first ability on the job ability chain, which is on the other side over here. There we go. And so then if they wanted to earn, say, the third hobby ability on that chain, they would first have to go 1, then 2, then 3, and work their way up. And they're going to get better as you get to 4. And so varied. There's so many different combinations here. With 10 different jobs, 10 different hobbies, and 10 different skills, you're getting thousands of different combinations. So it doesn't look a lot when you only got 10 of each, but when you scale it up and think about how many times you can put these different characters together, it's just unreal, the amount of kind of characters you can come up with. And we really encourage you to not try and find the best combinations, maybe sometimes, but not try and find the best combinations all the time. Just try and make it narrative and come up with characters that you think would be fun to play. So that's something we really like. So we'll build a character, almost try and make them rubbish and just see how long they'll last. And that's kind of fun to see how long they'll survive. And you can often come up with some real cool interactions when you do it like that, because putting together one survivor one way is going to complement another survivor that you've got. So it's really fun. So there's loads to discover, and we find out things all the time that we never planned for, but it just comes up and works out really nicely. So that's a really fun part of the game. Just having a look back through. Yeah, we've got loads of expansions planned, Matt. So we're working on the next one. We pretty much got it sussed already. And so that's going to be coming out in the next few months. And we're also going to be releasing one-shots, which are like single skirmishes that you could think of as side quests. So you could play those alongside a campaign. Can you use all 4 hobbies in a game when you unlock them, or just 1 per game per survivor? So you would get you would choose 1 job and 1 hobby, and then you can work your way through the hobby ability chain. So for example, with Bubblegum, you can see that his hobby is a gambler. So he'll get this card, and then that card there, once you get the 1, 2, 3, or 4 on the ability chain, you'll just cross that off to mark and let you know that he can use that ability. So that's it. That's all you would get. You wouldn't be able to say have 2 hobbies or 2 jobs. It would just be 1 of each. Does that make sense? Let's grab a drink of water. Okay. I hope that made sense. So cool. So this is like a really big part of the game. There's so much to discover here. Really good fun. And then once you've done the job and hobby, then you're going to choose the skill. And that's going to be found here. And with the skill, there's just one ability. And so you just get that skill, and then we recommend you write it down on the card. So you take the skill ability and you just write it on the card there. So you've got everything to hand. So the idea is with the game, you've got everything in front of you on these cards. You're not having to flick in and out of the game book when you're playing. That's one of my pet hates. So this is really cool. You can just get everything in one place where you need it. And then you really only go into the book for those search tables and also for the NPC cards, unless you print them off. And then that's going to be a lot easier. I'm just having a look. Yeah, Pog. So yes, that's right. So yeah, if you get say you start off, you spend your first survivor token on hobby ability chain 1, and then that survivor takes part in a skirmish. Then they can spend their next token on hobby ability chain 2, and then they get that then, and they keep that for the rest of the campaign. Nice. Cool. All right, so we've got back to here. So we've done the skill. Now we're going to choose starting weapons. So with the starting weapons, you can choose 2, and you can take either 1 ranged and 1 melee, or 2 ranged or 2 melee. So it's up to you. So you can choose whichever ones you like, and again, make it thematic to the characters. You could pick out the best ones, but again, it's fun just to mix it up and just go with the ones that kind of fit the story or fit what you think the character would carry or what they would start with. And so when you start with a weapon, it doesn't take up any carry slots. But if, say, that survivor drops their starting weapon or loses it, and then another survivor picks it up, then they would have to apply the carry slot value to that next survivor. But quite simple, not too many weapons to choose from, but you'll see in the tables later on, you're going to get a chance to find a lot more weapons. That's the ranged weapons table. And there's the melee weapons table there. So there's loads involved. And searching is a massive part of the game. Really good fun. And it's great fun to roll on these tables. And we didn't have this many tables when we first started playing. And then we thought, you know what, we need more. So we put in the knowledge table, the ammo table, food, gear, and then we got the ranged weapon and melee weapons, the weapon mods, that's cool, and then legendary table as well. And this is really fun. Each campaign is going to come with a new legendary table, and then in the book here we've included the cards. And all these cards are free if you want to just download them, and the tables as well. If you want to go and have a look before you purchase the book, you can have a look at a lot of the elements that the game uses, and that should give you a good idea of the kind of aesthetic and the abilities and things like that. But you're going to get some really fun legendary items. They're always going to be in gold like this, like the box of dynamite, the blunderbuss. You've got an old gangster's gun with "You Dirty Rat" as the ability. And then here you might even find Tyson the Tiger, who's going to come with you. But it does say that he must be fed in the post-skirmish sequence, and he only eats living meat. So you're going to have to feed one of your survivors to him. So that's going to be really fun. And then we got things like the goldfish bomb. You got a zombie goldfish that you can throw at people. And if it goes off, they can turn into zombies too. So loads of fun, wacky stuff like that. And as we go into each campaign, these are going to be themed to fit in with that as well. The dragon dagger, that's awesome. Yeah, what's really cool is you can get some blank cards from the website and then start creating your own legendary items. And that's really fun. And then as a guide, you could use the tables, which will give you the stats, but also just have a look at the starter weapons and just tweak them a little bit like we've done here. So you can make some slight changes, but definitely use those legendary weapons and the tables as a guide, and then create your own weapons. That's something we really want to encourage and get people into, because it's really good fun. And I think that's pretty much it for getting your survivors ready. We've got some other characteristics to look at, like here you've got just the standard ones. So walking, luck, noise, hearts, apples, and ammo. That just takes you through all that. And then you've got a nice example there that breaks down the cards too. So it goes through every element of it. And you notice on the coloured cards, they're kind of coloured in the green, and then you've got the yellow. And I'll show you an example of how the combat would work. Let's do it with bubblegum, actually. So I wanted something that was intuitive, and especially with kids, I like this idea. If you want to play with your kids, just to get them into this kind of traffic light system. So you're going to start with green. So when you choose your weapon, you've got the attack characteristic. That tells you how many dice to roll. And so you notice that's green. Now, when you're rolling against the characters, you're going to be either trying to get them at range, and in which case you roll against their reflex, or you're going to be up close, and so you're rolling against their guard. So you roll your green dice, 2 dice, against their green characteristic. Then once you've done that, the character you're attacking, the target, has to roll an armor save for any hits. And so then you'll apply the number in the power characteristic there, and that's in yellow. So that relates to that. And then finally, if the save isn't successful, you're going to cause damage, and that damage will then be red, which goes on to hearts. But you can also use it on the apples if you want to. So really just nice and simple, and getting it in color, I think, is really cool how that works. Nice, just reading through the comments. That's cool. Yeah, with the background lore, you've got the newspaper stories that kind of build you up, getting you into the actual outbreak until it all kicks off. But then something that I really wanted to include was for the skirmishes, was to tell the story of the NPCs. And so in each skirmish at the beginning, you're going to get a page and a bit that's going to really set the scene for the skirmish through the eyes of the NPC. And the NPCs are going to be there to either help or hinder you. And you're going to find that out as you read through. So in this one, this is the kind of training skirmish, if you like, a walk in the park. And this is the character called Ruby the Ranger. So you'll find out what she's all about and what happens. And then that's going to set you up and get you ready to play then in the kind of lake. This is the lake, and you've got Big Stone here. So it's Big Stone Lake. All the tourists and locals like to jump off that into the lake. So you're going to get involved in water here. You're going to be searching, and you start off with no weapons. And so with this skirmish, you've got to find your weapons here, pick them up, and then start attacking the zombies. And there's a few things dotted around just to get you through the different motions and getting you through the actions of picking things up and then using them as well. Different weapons that you can add. And then we've got in one of the special zombies, the runner, but loads of shufflers. And so there we go. Just reading through. Nice. Yeah, Bubblegum's a really fun character. And there's another one we put up called Ella as well, which is based off Ellie off The Last of Us, my son like that. So yeah, we did that. So you've got 2 characters if you wanted to use those to get started, but definitely make your own. And that's a big fun part. Get these printed off, make loads of characters. You can have like 10 in your group at any one time. They're gonna get bit. They're gonna get turned to zombies. So you're gonna be losing some, adding more to it as well. And so yeah, you can get attached to your survivors, but you can also play hardcore where it gets even more difficult. And you've got some options in the book here. Let's find that page on difficulty. Page 33. So you've got difficulty levels, so you can mix things up. So it's all, the difficulty levels are set, but you can adjust it by increasing the number of noise tokens, the number of what we call shufflers. These are your starting zombies, increasing the number of total shufflers that take part, and increasing the total number of special zombies. And that's something you're going to see as the game develops. We'll be introducing new zombies, posting them on the website, which will be free to download. And then you can add those to any of the existing skirmishes that we've got in the book, or ones we bring out later on. And certainly when you start making your own skirmishes, then that's going to be really cool. You can add those in as well. And so we're going to give you a big selection of zombies that you can draw through. It's going to take a little time to get all this going, but each week we're going to release new things. So it's really keeping the game fresh and really growing the world together. And if you're on Discord, then my son's going to be running that. He's the admin there. So I'm rubbish at Discord in the past. So he's taken on that role, and he's going to make sure that everything gets on there and everyone keeps up to date. But definitely sign up to the newsletter on the website, because that's where we'll be putting some like special offers, and that's the first place anything will get posted. So if you want to keep up to date, definitely recommend that. And if you're interested in doing your own skirmishes, because we are going to make a lot, so you're not going to run out. But if you want to make your own, which I think is fun, because you can set it anywhere in the world, which is one of the good things about the kind of modern day or zombie apocalypse genre, you can base this anywhere. And we're going to put out a free PDF that shows you how to design it in a step-by-step process. You can use our skirmishes in here as an example, and then we'll also show you like how to put together the map, ideas for how many zombies to start with, and things like that. And yeah, so definitely encourage you to put together your own skirmishes as the game progresses. And it might be fun to do some kind of competition where people send in their skirmish and everyone else can see it and share it too. The art style. Oh, so that's me. I did all the drawings in the whole book. Yeah. So that was all the artwork. We always had this idea of this just big bobble-headed zombie, like the head would swell up. I thought it'd be really funny. And yeah, so just based it all off that. Once I did the first zombie ages ago now, probably 2 years ago, when I first drew that zombie or had the idea, and then yeah, based it all off that. Yeah, it's going to be fun to play it in different places. One thing I really want to do is I've got this idea for maybe like an island or even on a submarine where you've got a specific amount of zombies, like a crew or the inhabitants of the island, and then there'll be a set number of survivors, and then see if you can survive and take them all out before they get to you. Because yeah, so it maybe if you're on like an island, there's gonna be 100 different zombies to get stuck into, and so that's gonna be really fun. Really looking forward to doing that. That's gonna be that'll be a mini campaign, probably. Well, I might do a big campaign. Wait and see, but it's definitely going to happen. Definitely want to do some kind of survivor or island thing. All right, so we've seen the characters. That's how to put the characters together. I can keep flicking through, or is there anything in particular you'd like me to go through? Let me know in the chat and we can have a look. Maybe we can look at the assets book and I could go through that. Here's the assets book. So this is entirely optional. Don't have to get this. And everything you can find in here is available to download for free as a PDF. And then you could print it off yourself. But there's quite a lot in here. I mean, altogether, there's 116 character cards. There's 291 tokens, 110 standees, all the search tables, the reference sheet, the map, and some other resources too. So it's going to save your printer. It's going to save you some ink. And I tried to price it as best we could to make it affordable. So if you wanted to do, if you wanted to get this, then it's going to make the job a lot easier. And it's fun because the idea with this is you cut it up and then you use everything in there. So just like the normal book, we got the contents and the introduction. Oh, hi, Milos. Oh, yes. Is it Milos? Sorry. I've gone through the character creation already, but I will be putting this video up. It's going to go up on the channel. So if you want to catch up with that later, you'll be able to see it. But let's have a look at this. So we got the assets book. But shout out if there's anything else you want to have a look at and we can jump on that too. So here we go. We got the assets then. So you've got a nice full-page map if you want to cut that out and then laminate it or something. And then here you got those cards. So we looked at the job and hobby cards earlier, and on the back you can see it's got this kind of logo. So when you cut it out, it's going to just look like a pack of cards. And then what I recommend is getting yourself some little protectors. I like these Dragon Shield ones. These are the clear classic, and when it's printed off here or on your printer, they're all going to fit the 88 by 63 mil cards. So I've got a link for these down below if you want to check those out on Amazon. But any card protectors are going to work in that size. And you've got more jobs and hobbies. There we go. And then you've got only 4 of those in there, the colour ones. And then with these, you're going to be using a lot. So I definitely recommend getting the PDF for this and just printing loads off. Cool. Yeah, I'll go back to the zombie AI in a minute once we've had a look at these. Are they classic playing card size? I think so. I think it is. I think this is like the poker card kind of size. And then we got the starter weapons. This is really handy to have all these ready to go. So you got the different ones. I've also done the grenades too. You're going to find those as you go through and pick them up. Oh yeah, hit the like button. Thanks. Yeah. Starter weapons. Then doors and windows. This is a cool feature. So when you play the game, you can't just walk through a door. You have to check if it's locked. So you use your luck characteristic, roll on that, and if you equal or beat your luck characteristic, the door is unlocked and you can walk through with another action. If it is locked, you simply spend another action to unlock it. But there's a rule where you can decide at the beginning of the game which doors are secure, and so or barricaded or something like that. So you can kind of say, oh, this one's boarded up. And so in that case, you have to break in. So now you have to attack the window door from range or at melee, just as you would a character. So they've got the kind of own character card. So again, you're going up against this in that color system. Also in the book, we got these legendary cards because this is the Huntsville campaign assets book. So every time I do a campaign, I'll do the campaign in a book and then do an assets book, which is optional if you want it. And I thought about putting it all together in one book, but I think if you were to cut them out, you'd have a book on your shelf that's half book and half cut out. It wouldn't really work, and it would also ramp the price up the more pages. So having it optional, I think, is probably the way we're going to go with the next campaigns. So all those cards are in there. You've also got tokens, so you can cut these all out and use them, and your exit and entry sections if you want. Now, when we developed the game, we just raided the Zombicide tokens. We used stuff from Warcry, Kill Team. So you don't need these, but they are all part of the aesthetic. So it's cool to have them. And I think if you can cut them out in the book, it's really fun. Also, the entry zones. You certainly don't need this, but it makes it a lot easier and looks nice on the table too. You could laminate those up. Donuts. I love donuts. So there's lots of donut tokens. And then all of these, I sized it up. So these little bottle caps would work, and I'm going to be trying it out in a video, so you'll see if it works well or not very soon. But the idea here is you peel that off, they're clear, and so that will go over the top, and then you can just cut around that, and then that's going to give them a bit more life, save you laminating them. And so I've put a link down below to these anyway if you want to check them out, and then they're going to match up with these tokens. They don't fit the bigger ones like these, but they fit the weapons, fit them, donuts, all this, and all the characters too. So if you wanted to play the game as like just flat, or maybe even just take it out and about if you're traveling, you can use these little tokens and play a little game. This might be fun when we do the one-shots, because some of those one-shots are going to take place on smaller areas. They're going to be like little challenges, and in those challenges, they'll unlock a special weapon or a special item, and you can only get that by doing that little challenge. So things like that's going to be fun, and it might be cool to use these little tokens to play those little games out. And there's some tokens that are specific to the campaign skirmishes there. Loads of these. These are your shufflers, so you need a lot of those. And then you've got the option of standees as well. So if you want to cut these out, again, they're all backed on that the logos, I guess, on the back. You can do that, and you're going to get lots of shufflers. So you've got all 60 that you'll need, and then we go on to the special ones. Some ankle biters there, soldiers, runners, and then with these, once you cut them out, I've got these little plastic stands. Just got these on Amazon. I'll put a link down below to those too. You just cut them out and then pop it in. There's one we did as a little trial when we made the book. But if you want zombies, I've done a few videos on where to get them cheap, but Zombicide's great. I mean, you get a box of Zombicide, even just on eBay, you should get tons. Warlord Games had some great... My mum ringing me. That's good timing, right? She never rings. Why would she ring now? So yeah, get some zombies from Warlord Games. Oh, there's loads of places. Also, Hayland Terrain is really good I've got some awesome models from them. So if you want to check those out, I've actually got the bubblegum miniature. Here he is. I've been working on him, getting him painted up today. So you're going to see him in the how to play videos that are coming soon. There he is. Yeah, Hayland Terrain. Very good. Awesome models. All metal and some cool zombies in there too. But yeah, here's all the others. You've got all the different NPCs. You've got your companions, which take part in the game. All your special zombies as well. And then you've got all the zombie cards. So everything you need. All the NPC cards. Things like first aid kit I've popped in there because they're going to be handy to have. A rubber duck, why not? You'll see that plays a big part in the game. And then the tables. So I thought with the tables, it would be fun to cut them out, laminate them, or put them into some wallets. And then you can pass them around the table as you're playing. So they're all there. And then a quick reference guide. And then everything in black and white. So if you cut them out, you could take them to work or whatever, get them photocopied. And then get loads of these done, loads of characters. And also, what's cool, when you use the tables, I recommend print off loads of these blank cards. And then when you find something, just fill it out on the card, do a quick sketch, and then you've got that. Otherwise, you're going to be going back and forth to the tables, or you're going to be writing notes, which is cool. But I think it's fun to get the cards. And as the game goes on, I will be drawing loads more of the cards and making them available anyway. So ideally, I'll work through all the tables and produce a card for each item and then put that for free to download. But that's probably going to take a little while though, but I think it'll be fun and good to have. So there we go. And you got the black and white job hobby tables too, and a group sheet. So there we go. That's the assets book. Totally optional. Don't need that at all. Everything's available on the website to download for free. But I like it. I think it's cool. I think probably by the time you printed a load of this off, I don't know. Yeah, it depends what printer you've got. But I think the quality's good and it's going to be, comparable on price, I think. So that's the asset book. But let's go back to, so you can get random items. Yes, so when you do a search, you're going to roll 2 dice. And then the result is going to tell you which table you can search on. So if you roll double 1, you're going to go on the knowledge table, and then so on as we work through. So say you roll a 5, then you'll search on the gear table. Then you roll 1 dice, that'll be for the first number, then another dice for the second. And say you roll 32, you would go along and have a look at what you found. So in this case, it's an egg timer, takes up 1 carry slot, and it tells you here how to use it in any conditions. And so, yeah, lots of different things you can find, loads of weapons. There's a page of food, melee, ranged weapons, weapon mods, and then the legendary table. So yeah, you're going to find loads of items, and each campaign is going to have a new list as well. All right, shall we have a look at the AI now? Let's go. Let's have a look. So the contents page, I've kind of done it almost like an index, really. So you should be able to find everything in here really quick. So here you've got NPCs. So let's go to page 53. All right. So NPCs, they're a massive part in the game. And so you've got different types. You've got your zombie NPCs, and then you've got what we call intelligent NPCs. The intelligent NPCs. So the zombie NPCs, they're going to pretty much be zombies, or they're going to be things like animals maybe, or even basic like henchmen and things like that. So they're going to come in different types. You're going to have a zombie ranged, zombie melee, zombie objective. All that means the zombie ranged, they're going to attack you at range as best they can. The zombie melee, they're going to want to close you down and attack. And the zombie objective, they're going to get to a certain point on the table and then, or the battlefield, and then they're going to hold that point and then carry out any tactics or actions that are described on the zombie card. And then so for each of these 3, you're going to get a little AI chart. And I reckon once you've played it once, maybe twice, you won't even need to look at these. This is just really there to formalize the process that you go through. So I think once you've gone through it a couple of times, especially with the shufflers, they all use the melee AI chart. And so are they in base combat? Yes, then they're going to attack. No. Are they close to a survivor? Yes, they're going to move to it in a straight line and then attack it when they're in base combat. It's just going to go round like that. And if they're not, then it just says move, trying to keep them in cover. So if they're further away, you're going to move them and try and keep them in cover. If they're close, you're going to move them in a straight line and get straight to them. So these are very simple. The zombie AI chart's really easy. The range one especially, the objective one as well. And then this ties in with the cards. So the complexity is going to come from the character cards and the NPC abilities that they come with. Then we got the intelligent NPCs. So they're going to be almost most of the time, they're going to be survivors. And with the survivors, you're going to build them. If you want to make your own NPCs, you can build them just as you would do another survivor. So you could literally just take this setup and do the same thing for them. And then when you play them, the difference would be you would assign them a primary weapon. With the primary weapon, that's going to play a part in the chart. So this chart is geared up for ranged and melee attacks. And so depending on the primary weapon, this chart is going to tell you when to attack and your movement. And sometimes you can roll for a random result as well. Again, this one probably looks more complicated than the others, but once you've played it a few times, I think you won't even need to look at this. A lot of it's going to be intuitive, or that's the idea anyway. So yeah, like I say here, like take your time. I reckon if you wanted to, you could play your own group against 4 or even just against 2 NPC survivors, and then run them through this chart, the intelligent NPC AI chart, and by the end of the game you'll have a really good idea about how that works and you'll be good to go. So yeah, it looks complicated, but it's not. I think it's intuitive. Hopefully when you play you'll find out. And that's it. So this took the longest to develop actually out of everything, getting the NPCs right and like linking how they're going to move and interact with the survivors and the objectives, and then linking that with the cards. So let's grab a zombie card. So for example, the ankle biters, they use the zombie melee chart. So you're going to go through and just follow that. And then they've got some of their own things here. So any survivors that take out any number of ankle biters must make an additional roll on the guilt table. So that's at the end of the skirmish. But ankle biters will hang on to the survivor's legs and they can't be pushed away. So in the game, if you're in base contact or within an inch of an enemy, then you can't just walk off. You're engaged with them. So you have to push them first to get them an inch away from you, and then you can move. But with these ankle biters, they cling on and they're not going anywhere unless you take them out. And taking them out is going to make you feel bad. So that's going to affect you at the end of the skirmish. How long did it take to put together? The games, I've been talking about the game for a long time, probably 18 months talking about it, working on it for a bit, then putting it in the drawer for a few months and coming back to it later on. That's really good, actually. If you're into writing things, it's cool to write it out, put it away, and then come back to it. And I think you look at it from a totally different way. And what might have looked good before can often work out to be quite bad when you revisit it a month or two later. So I'm glad I took my time and did that. But I would say the AI, once it clicked, that's when things really got going. We've tried out some different things, played around with different ideas. But once it started working and we could link it in, so we had the AI charts with the abilities for the zombies, and then we tie that in with the difficulty, and I'm waffling here, but with the difficulty and with how many zombies start and how many take part in it, it was all those things that combined together to make it work. So that took the longest out of all of it. And also doing all the drawings took me a while. That took a fair bit. But I would say towards the end of last year, it was like I spent 3 months solid on it. and then that's when it really worked out. So yeah, once the AI clicked, it was 3 more months of really tying it together, and yeah, that's cool. Pog, I love how you've taken some of the best from Weekend Warriors and improved. Oh yeah, I'm glad you noticed that, because yeah, it's very similar, like the size and things. If you're familiar with Weekend Warriors, you might notice we've changed this especially. We've added those in, and so that makes a big difference, especially when you start mixing up the different numbers. Like if you've got a large character, they're going to be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and then 5 for reflex. Their reflex isn't going to be great, but they're going to be really tough. So that was adding that extra thing in was really cool. Only strange thing is zombies hiding, but might be because gameplay. Yeah, there are some hidden zombies. You might find them on the search tables, and you could certainly like make like some homebrew rules where there's some more hidden around. That would be quite fun, because because the idea with the game is we wanted to create something that was like an episode of Walking Dead, where first of all the survivors go out on a run. They've got a specific mission they want to achieve, and they're quite quiet at first. They sneak around, it's all stealthy, and then maybe they go in and they search a room, and then a zombie jumps out or something happens, or maybe another group of survivors attacks them. Then it starts getting noisy, and then more zombies appear before everyone has to leg it. And then that's kind of how we designed the game. I meant for them to go to cover. Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, the zombies, they're just gonna like stumble around, and yeah, just I find like the cover with them doesn't really come up that much. With the vehicles, they can get cover from that at range, but I find you almost want to do more melee attacking with zombies, because every time you shoot, you're going to make a noise, and that's going to bring on more zombies, and it's balancing that out in the game, which is really fun. Like, do you want to go loud early and just have tons of zombies, or do you want to be real quiet and just like get into a nice position before you go loud? So that's a really fun part of the game, and just balancing that for the different missions. So anyway, I hope that's explained the NPCs. Is there anything else anyone would like me to cover in particular? We can go through it. It's hard to ask questions before I played it. Yeah, hopefully this is going to help. And then with the maps, let's talk about the maps maybe. Here you can see you've got an example of a skirmish map. So you're going to find lots of cars. There's always going to be vehicles in the game. So definitely get hold of some cars we get some from like the cheap shops, second-hand shops. And we've built up quite a cool collection now. But yeah, get some different cars and lorries and things. Buildings, I'm going to be doing some videos on how to make these buildings, because I really want to introduce the crafty element to the game, like making it out of card and foam, and creating your own. And so what I'll do is I'll make some templates that will be just able to be downloaded as PDFs. So you can print those off if you wanted, and then recreate buildings. And some of them will be specific buildings for skirmishes too, which will be fun. And I think it'd be good to get the kids involved as well. If you've got kids, then that's going to be fun doing that together. And then you can just get a load of cool terrain buildings, and it shouldn't cost a lot either. And then you can focus on getting cool minis and things like that. But yeah, on the maps, you're going to get the buildings, the cars mostly. Trees are good. Definitely get hold of some trees if you haven't got any already. And then as far as the miniatures go, there's going to be like the special zombies. And for us, we're just at the moment using all different zombies from different games to represent those. But eventually, I think it would be fun to at least get the heads made for all these zombies. Like, just even if you had a sprue full of different zombie heads, that would be awesome. So that might be something we do later on. But I think there's so many cool miniature makers out there, especially like I'm working or hoping to be working with Halen Terrain and showcasing a lot of their miniatures soon. So that's going to be good. Yes, 28 mil. It'll be 28 mil scale. And yeah, Jez, I agree. Yeah, definitely. Making trains awesome. I did a load when we did some tournaments for Age of Sigmar and 40k. And the 40k, that was mental because everything was the same. But the Age of Sigmar terrain was really fun to make. And yeah, some of that we'll use. You'll see when we start getting into different areas, rocks and deserts and things, it's going to come up. But yeah, buildings, I think buildings, there's a few places. We got some cool ones. I've got these from Wayland Terrain. These are nice buildings. And the good thing is you can take the roof off and go inside, which is a good part of the game as well. So that's something I want to include when we build it. You can open it up and even have the rooms divided up. And so that's going to be fun. But yeah, that's really nice. You can get this MDF terrain. That's good. TT Combat is fantastic. We've got some really nice stuff from them to get built as well and showcase that. So yeah, I want to focus on building it, but also showcasing some of the companies out there that create stuff. And TT Combat just does such a good range. There's loads to choose from. And then what I've been trying to build up a collection is all this terrain crate, scatter terrain. It's quite expensive. The quality's not brilliant, but I mean the choices out there aren't huge, but it's still good. I'm happy with it. I think because of there's not that much to choose from. Where else are you going to get it? And this does the job, so it's going to work great. I've done a few videos on that. I've got some more to come for the different sets too. 3D printing would be good, but I'm not really into that. Model railroad, yeah, model railroad would be excellent, wouldn't it? Yeah, definitely. If you've got any recommends for the model railroad websites or anything, that would be cool. So yeah, we're going to build loads of terrain. That's going to be awesome. Really good fun. I'll do some terrain boards as well, especially for one of the missions in here. We'll do a good setup for that so you can see it in action and also see the whole process of taking that mission and then building the terrain around it. Maybe we'll talk about order of play a little bit. That might be cool. So in the game, it's made up of rounds, turns, and activations. And so you can have your round, and in each round, that's going to be divided into 2 turns, the survivor turn and the zombie turn. And so through the survivor turn, you're going to activate all the survivors the player controls and also the survivors that are NPCs as well. And you're going to take turns activating. So you go, then the NPC go, then you. And to decide on which NPC activates each time, they're going to have a hunger rating. And I'll show you that on Larry the Looter. He's probably my favourite character, actually. Larry the Looter, his hunger rating's 5. And his gang is made up of Looter Len and Looter Lance. So he's got the highest hunger rating. So he's the one that's going to activate first for the NPCs. And so once you've gone through that, then it's the zombie turn. And each zombie turn, you're going to move and attack with all the zombies that are on the battlefield. Then you're going to move and attack with all the zombies that are on the zone edges. So any zombies that are lined up on these. So you basically line them up and they're waiting to come on. So that would be 2. And then 3, you place new zombies on those. So each time a noise token is placed, one of these, you're going to take that and you're going to place it on the entry zone. And for every noise token, once all the zombies have moved on and you're on to step 3 of the zombie turn, you're going to put a zombie on that token. And then in the next zombie turn, they'll be the ones that move on. And once a noise token is placed, it stays there. And so you get all these waves of zombies just coming on and they create almost an environmental control. A bit like, I don't know if you remember that game I did for Apex Legends where it gets smaller as you go through it. You see that in loads of computer games too. So something like that. It almost has that effect, but all the zombies are following you around. So it's not just a case of them getting in like this. It's like they go over there sometimes. They might go that way. They might come in and close in on you. So it moves around a lot more. Oh yeah, they're doing the buildings in a cartoony style. Yeah, that would be fun. Like printing off the exteriors would be cool, wouldn't it? In like a cartoon style. Yeah, that's a really good idea. And just reading through. How come I didn't go Kickstarter route? I thought about it. I think with the game, because it's a book, I could write the book and it's ready. And so I didn't really need any money to get the book into, at the point of production. So I figured, and because I want it to be a long-term project, I just thought, let's just release it and let's build it up and grow the game slowly with the community. That might be something we add later with Kickstarter if we do if we do get things like we want to look at getting the zombie heads made, you know, a sprue of zombie heads, that might be fun, because then you could get cheap zombies, cut the heads off and glue the cool heads on, the big bobble heads, to match the characters. That might be fun. So yeah, we might do later on for things like that. But I wanted to get the book finished, because it seemed to have been, it felt like I was talking about it a lot but not actually producing it. So I set myself the date and just went for it and just got it done. So yeah, so it's out there in the world now, and it's really fun, and now we can just grow it together, which I think is really cool. And Hurst's Arts, I'll have a look. Thanks for that recommend. Oh, nice. Thanks, Milos. Thanks. That's awesome. Right, cool. All right. I haven't played Country Road Z. I saw it, but yeah, I should have a look at it, really. I should get it and check it out. Sometimes you don't want to play too many things when you're creating something. I think playing too many things or looking into too many things of the same genre can almost put you off. It's kind of fun to come up with ideas like that aren't influenced by those other games. Obviously, there's loads of influence by different skirmish games and other genres in here, but yeah, I should look at it now. Now we got this one. So there we go. That's the rounds, turns, and activations. Nice and easy. And then we've got the noise, which I think I've pretty much explained, really. This just tells you where to put those entry zones. Divide the whole thing up as well into 6. And it's all played on a 3 foot by 3 foot board. And then here, those tokens will go on. Oh, and there's different noises will tell you to place different amounts of noise tokens. So a bang will be 1 noise token. A boom could be 1 D3 noise tokens, but a blast, that's going to be a token in every zone. So you'd have to put a token in each place all the way around. And on the different weapons, it's going to tell you. So, like, say, for example, the blunderbuss is a boom, whereas una muerta, that's a bang. So they've got different noise values. Crooked Stuff Terrain. I'm sure I must have seen that. Nice. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, fun is the main thing. And yeah, just trying to follow some logical process. Is there a noise when you move? So no, you don't cause a noise by moving, but to represent the idea that your characters are always going to be noisy, then basically what happens is, depending how many survivors you start with, for example, if you start with 2 survivors, at the end of every 5th round, you place a noise token on every entry zone. If you play with 4 survivors, you're going to make more noise. So you place one at the end of every 3rd zone. And at the end of every 3rd round on every zone. So that kind of resembles the idea they're making noises. When I was designing the game, we played around with rolling a dice to see if they make a noise during their activation. If they didn't shoot, but there would just seem to be too many steps to go through. So we just introduced something that worked kind of just like organically, almost like you're gonna make a noise whatever you do. The more you search, the more you root around, those survivors are going to be making a noise. They might just happen upon things. So yeah, we wanted to represent that in a nice easy way that just happened, and so that's how we do it. And we can also tweak that then. So depending on the scenario, if we want things to maybe escalate a little bit slower, maybe we give them more time to search, then we can do that just by changing when the zombies come on and at which stage. And also, if we've got a skirmish where your survivors are going up against NPC survivors, you might not want loads of zombies in at first, because you want to have a bit of a gunfight, bit of a battle with those NPC survivors before the zombies arrive. So we can play around with it. It gives us a bit of control, which I liked. Yeah, it gets like that. You don't want to add more noise tokens, and almost scared to use the ranged weapons early on. But when things start going crazy, it's really cool, because then you can just let rip and just shoot everything, which is awesome. But noise is, yeah, massive part of the game. Tried to keep it all on like a couple of pages as best I could, and so yeah, And that was one thing with the design of the whole book, actually, trying to get where you've got noise, that's going to be on 2 pages. When you start looking at, say, movement, there's 2 pages, so let's keep it together so you can have all the reference in one place. Yeah, noise is fun, though. Also, when you attack a door, it's got the, you notice it's got the noise on there too. So as you're bashing the window in or trying to knock the door down, it's going to have some effect. Searching, that's another big part of the game when you're looking for things. Ah, nice, getting the book tomorrow. That's cool. That's awesome. Did you get the PDF, hopefully? So if you order the print book and then you send me an email with proof of purchase, I'll send you a link and you get the PDF for free. Oh, thanks, Pog. Appreciate that. That's really cool. So yeah, searching. With searching, we're going to be doing this a lot, unless you just want to fight. You don't have to search. Is it solo? Use a DM. So it's a solo or co-op game, and you can use what we call a ZM, a zombie master. And so if you wanted to, you could have your players take in 1 or 2 survivors each, and then one person could be the zombie master, and they control all the AI, and then the players don't have to worry about that. And then I've just got some example cards. So all the things on those search tables that I was showing you earlier, when I'm going to do it, when I do all the different items, they're going to be on cards and they're going to look like this then. Spinach is good. Ugh, like Popeye. Once consumed, +1 power to your next melee attack. Oh, I should talk about this. Oh yeah, that would be fun with Indiana Jones. Definitely. With mummies, yeah, you bet. So we do have another game that we're working on next. It's a fantasy game, and it's going to be following the same core rules. And so we'll tweak it because it's going to be like Dungeons and Dragons, but as a tabletop skirmish game. And so it's going to have that feel of an RPG, but it's going to be all about the combat, real heavy on magic. And we're working on that now. We've been working on it for ages. Got a lot of it written already, actually. And because before I did write a tabletop RPG game that we're converting into this skirmish game using this system. And so we'll have characters, the world, and all sorts. So you could certainly do that. You could take this, and that's what we did with Weekend Warriors. When I wrote that, it's very straightforward, very simple. Great to get the kids in playing if they've never played before, or even if they have, and adults too. Really fun. But the idea with that is that it was a blank canvas. There was no story or genre built into it, so you can apply it to any game. And you could certainly do that here. You could take the rules and then homebrew your own Indiana Jones game. That would be awesome. That'd be great fun. And go to Halen Terrain because they make an Indiana Jones miniature. So that's cool. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get that. Definitely going to be this year. So I'm not putting a date on it yet, but it's coming out this year. And then that's going to be something we run as well. So really fun. But it's great because my son's involved now. So we're working on it together. And he's got some great ideas, which is brilliant. So his imagination's amazing. So together we can come up with some cool stuff, I think. It's going to be great fun. But line of sight, this is something I just wanted to be super simple. And after playing all different games, I just picked out bits that I really liked. Necromunda really stood out. I just like the simplicity of it. And so you'll see the influence of that in here. But with line of sight, dead simple, just draw an imaginary line from the top of the attacking model's head to any part of the target model, but not its base. And if you can draw a line that doesn't cross any obstruction, that target is in line of sight, and then you can attack them. And this is the idea of just getting down behind the model, looking from the model's point of view. Can you see another part of the enemy? And then that's it. So line of sight, dead easy. And don't include things like a spear or a little tail, things like that. I mean, you could shoot the tail off if you wanted, but yeah, don't include those. But if you can see a little bit of the head, you can go for it. So line of sight's dead easy. And then cover, if any part of the model cannot be seen, it's -1 to the attack roll. And that's light cover. And then you've got heavy cover. So if more than 50% cannot be seen, -2 to the attack roll. And that's it. That's line of sight and cover. Don't need lasers. Don't have to work anything out. Just very simple. Can you see them, and how much can you see them? And that's it. So that's really simple. And then we kind of built a lot of the probabilities around this then as well. So that's all built into that right from the beginning. I really like simple line of sight and cover. I just don't think it has to be complicated. And then you got your ranged attack, grenades and fire. Ranged and melee attacks, very similar process, just looking at going after the different characteristics. So you go in for reflex or guard. And then you've got combat assists. And with this, I wanted to put a few diagrams just to make it really clear so you can get some help or not when you're making melee attacks. So that should explain that. And I've gone through the attack example already. And one thing that's really fun, in campaign play, any survivors removed from battle, so once they've lost their hearts and apples, they're removed from battle, they have to make a 1d6 check. On a 1, they're bitten, and then they're permanently removed from the group. They've turned and now belong to the herd. So that's really fun. There's some stakes there. And if you want to go hardcore, if you lose all your hearts and apples, you just kill them off immediately if you want to do that. But that's entirely optional. But this is fun because you just don't know if they were bit or not. So that's cool. I like that bit. Just having a read through. Just thinking, get the resource book or printer. Yes. So if you get the main book at the back, I've included it in there, but it's also all available on the website for free. So you can go on there and download the PDFs for free. So in the reference section of the book, though, you've got blank cards that you can print off, the group record sheet. You've got the job, hobby, the survivor cards. But I've done PDFs of these just to make it easier for you to print them off. All the weapons, your companions. They're all in the book. Some tokens, not as much as the asset book. The legendary items for the campaign. Some of the tokens. The standees aren't in here in the main book. They're in the asset book. But I put the zones in there. But one thing I didn't do is I didn't back them like I did in here. Like they're backed with the logo, so you can cut them out. This is more to like photocopy. But again, you're better off if you're going to print them. I would recommend just getting the free PDFs and doing that. And then you've got the tables at the back. I've also done a PDF for these, for the tables, because I think even if you had those on an iPad or phone when you're playing, it's just one less time you have to go in the book, which is nice. And talking of that, I'll show you a skirmish. So during a skirmish, I talked earlier, you've got some narrative from the NPC's perspective that introduces you to the scenario. And then on 2 pages, you're going to have all the information to get set up and the map with the reference. But then once you start playing, you should have everything on 2 pages that you need. So really, once you've got all your character cards like these printed off and the tables either printed or at the back of the book where you can easily find them, all you really need to have open from the book once you've learned the rules are the pages like this. So you can have a look at all the NPCs that are going to take part. And I've even included an NPC chart there. And also I put the zombie cards there. So some will have more. This is quite a big scenario. There's quite a lot going on here. But the way it's set up is you're probably going to be taking on the NPCs before the zombies. So once you've got there, you can flip the page and then have a go at those. But on another one, just to give you another example, that's all you're going to have. So for that scenario, I'll turn it around that way. So for that scenario, that's everyone, NPCs and zombies that you're going to come across. Oh, yes, Jez, 100%. So I've got the how to play videos coming this week, and they'll be coming out. And then I'm going to build the terrain and then use the terrain to do the playthroughs. So it's going to be a real fun process of just going through every step. So you could follow along and even build some terrain with me and then see that skirmish being played out. So yeah, lots of playthroughs. I'm going to do some how to play breakdowns that focus on like noise combat, and also just going through how to build a survivor, that kind of thing. So lots going on. Zombie Doc Nurse would make a banging t-shirt, yeah. I've got some t-shirts on the website. Actually, I've done this guy, Colin the Clown. I love his backstory. I wrote it a few times because I went a bit dark. I had to like chill out a bit. Where is he? Yeah, I've got him on a t-shirt and also the Shuffler. But yeah, it'd be good to get all the I should do all the zombies on different t-shirts for sure. But I think that's it. I think we've gone through a fair bit there. Is there anything else anyone would like me to cover? We've gone through the main book. The exact map. Do you have to make the exact map play the scenario? You can improvise. Oh yeah, for sure. Improvise, definitely. So the supermarket's probably the most complicated one just because we've got all these aisles. I haven't got a supermarket model, so we would just use anything to represent this. I'll be building walls though out of foam to show you how to do that, and some little shelves. You can use pretty much anything for that. Cars, I would say get loads of cars, but you don't have to put them in the exact position. The buildings are important though, so anything you're using to represent a building, I would try and follow it as close as you can. The size isn't that important, just the fact of where it's placed. So here, you're going to enter here, and you've got to do something with the sheriff's office, which has to be near the exit for it all to kind of make sense. So yeah, follow the layout. Don't worry about the sizes too much. I've kind of put the cars where I think it would be cool to give like cover after playing it so many times each mission. So yeah, just follow as much as you can, but definitely improvise, use what you've got. And that's what it's all about, really. But yeah, for sure. Try and find another map. Same here. These are little cages. There we go. Yeah, it'd be good to get him on here. Definitely. Yeah, you'll see him for sure. We'll play a game together. And he's on the Discord, so he's helping with that, and he's running. Well, he's not helping; he's running it. And so, any questions you've got about the gameplay, he's there to be on hand as well. This one's called a bridge. So, for example, if you're making this, just use anything to represent the river. Put something across to represent a bridge. Dot some cars on, and then you're good to go. And then the idea with that is it takes up about a third. So you definitely want to be using that as a guide, because then you're going to be having one massive battle. But I don't want to tell you too much about that and ruin it for you. Here you've got a lot of trees going on, but you could represent, even if you had, like, for example, what we got, like lots of, like, if you had lots of rocks, you could just put those down instead of trees. Anything that's going to set the scene, make it look cool. But that's one of the rocks that we would use for big stone there. And then we just use a little water feature from Battle Systems, which is really good. So we got this, and then we would put that there, and then that would just symbolize that. Battle Systems is great, actually. Some really nice terrain. I've got the city terrain, which I've done a unboxing of if you want to check that out. That's a really good thing. Yeah, Discord in the past I haven't been very good at keeping on top of it. I think I focus on the YouTube channel, also the Facebook group. That if you're onto Facebook, check that out, because I post pretty much every day on there. But yeah, Discord, my son's going to be looking after that now, so that's really good. Because I think it's handy. It's really good to like share a lot of things on there, and you can have lots of conversations and easily find things on Discord. It's just something I haven't used that much. But I think that's it. Unless you've got anything else you want to look at, I think we can wrap it up. We've gone through the assets book, gone through the main book. We've checked out Bubblegum, who's available as a free PDF to get started. So you can download him. Then you've got a nice reference for when you build yours. It's good to see like one next to you all filled out, so you can have a good idea. There's also Ella, that other character, on there too. But thanks so much, everybody. It's been awesome to have all your support for the 3 years with the channel and now with the game as well. And thanks so much to everyone who's bought a copy and just shown interest. It's really cool. And if you've got any questions anytime, just reach out through the social media, YouTube, Discord, and we'd love to help. But there's loads to look forward to. This is just the beginning, and yeah, we've got loads to come to grow the game, and we're looking forward to growing it with you and getting it going and hearing how your adventures go in the world of Population Z. So we can't wait for that. But thanks so much for coming along to this first live video. I'm probably going to do more of these live videos, I think, as we go through things. I do need to do a video where I cut the assets book up and then get it all put into the things, into the card slots and everything. And so I probably won't do that live. But yeah, I'll do some more live videos if that's the sort of thing you want to see. But for now, thanks so much for watching. It was great to catch up and talk to you and get your questions. So I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you here again next time. So thanks, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Now I just have to figure out how to turn it off. Okay.